But now we're gonna start part two. Let me go ahead and remind anyone who's watching to go on YouTube. We are there. Follow, subscribe, follow us here if you like what you're seeing. If you want to see Nuno and Matt keep fighting, because I'm not gonna fight him. I'm gonna let him talk. I'm gonna let him, but give us a follow. Part two is theories, and I really just have a theory on how this is gonna end, and it's not pretty. It's just gonna be a lot of more questions than it is answers. I think. Let me dust off my notes here. I think Agatha versus Wanda is gonna happen, but it's gonna be like a 5 to 10 minute fight, and then the whole Agatha is gonna be like, "Hey, I'm being just like my mom. I don't want to do that." She's gonna realize that she said, "We're not gonna fight. I'm sorry." Blah blah blah, and they join together. They team up. Also, Vision's gonna show up. Monica's gonna show up because we don't know where Monica. Vision's taking forever to fly to his house, and Monica is. We don't know where her and Pietro are at the moment, but they're gonna show up. Especially if Agatha says, "Hey, you know what? We're not fighting." She'll probably make Pietro bring Monica, whatever. But at that moment, that's when Hayward's gonna break through. He's gonna have White Vision. He's gonna have his whole little army, and that's the fight that's gonna happen. It's going to be a huge Vision fight, Vision versus Vision, and then Agatha, Wanda, Monica. Maybe the engineer shows up because now like there's a way to go through. Maybe that guest engineer shows up, and maybe Dottie will fight in this little battle. I think Dottie will end up being the what's called informant that Jimmy Woo's looking for because I don't think she was on the board whenever they were putting like the townspeople on the board to see who's there, who's not. So I don't think she was there. So I'm thinking she's probably the informant. Um, yeah, and that'll be the resolution. The dome will go down. All great, cool. But then bigger things are gonna happen. Like one of the main things that I think is gonna happen is that Vision that was created by Wanda will go inside White Vision and either A take over and become Vision again, like just everything like everything's back to normal, or two, um, that's just a way for him to be able to exist outside of the dome, but he will still be emotionless. He'll still be whatever, and maybe he gets lost, and that's leading up to the whole like a secondary storyline to the multiverse of madness where they're trying to fix reality, but they're also trying to find Vision, something like that. Um, yeah, that's my theory on how it's gonna end. Uh, which does bring up a couple of questions that I'll get to when we get to that part. Nuna, what are your theories?
My theories are that got one episode left. There can't be much of happen, or it's just one episode. There's only so much they can do without it. Enough pop. So what I'm thinking is the last episode is one little Spider-Man agent or something. Yeah, I got what's his name? Jim Woo. Jim Woo. Maybe we see him in the new Spider-Man flick. So I feel like the finale is gonna bring out more like a cliffhanger. Those Walking Dead back in the day when they do cliffhangers, like who did Negan kill or something. I think it's gonna be like a cliffhanger finale that'll be like, oh, we're gonna see some of it here. We're gonna see some of it here. As theories go for it, uh, I wish it was a little better. I'm gonna leave that for my rating this episode. Like I was expecting a little more of wow, what's going on. You know what I mean? Um, that's about it for my theories. I mean, everything that we've been talking about for the past few weeks, testing or referencing comic books, has really been spot on from everybody across the board. We covered every theory. I think like really been hitting it. You know, and theories that are more like crazier and that have been true, and some theories that have been less crazier that have not been true. I mean, I'm pretty much caught up on my theories. That's about it. I want to. My theory for the ending is it's gonna be like up into a bunch of stuff. I like that Manny that finds fight and stuff. She might notice that she's doing wrong, Agatha. But I definitely can't wait to do next week's episode to see what the finale is gonna be and how it is in as a whole. hope we get it all tied in because I didn't like the consistency. They paid so much attention to detail. They've got it. I'll pass it on to Nick, I believe. Go ahead, brother.
Okay. Thank you, Nuno. You guys the man. Okay. So there, Matt's back. He's ready for this. Okay.
Yeah, he didn't want to hear. He didn't want to hear my theories, so he left.
Mate, I was in the kitchen. My kitchen's literally right there. I could hear you. I just wanted to make my chocolate milkshake. Anyway, continue.
All right. This next episode, 100% action. Everything's leading up until this point. It's gonna be nonstop from the beginning to end. So my theory, White Vision is getting into this dome. There's gonna be Vision versus Vision. My theory on that is that this White Vision's body will become the new conduit for like Wanda's Vision's consciousness, but I think that this Vision is going to somehow lead into a new Ultron.
Yeah.
I'm not going last anymore with theories.
What?
I'm not going last anymore with theories. I've got that shit written down right here, just so you know.
Okay, let me have my spotlight. So, I think that somehow that it's gonna end up with just this being like a cliffhanger thing, where like, you know, Vision gets his body back, but now Ultron's back because White Vision's supposed to be emotionless and like just more android than human. So I feel like that's going to, you know, some big fight, and he's gonna upload his programming into something back at Sword, and we're gonna see like the remnants of like Ultron turn on and reassemble itself. And then that's gonna be like a villain for later on down the line. I really hope we get Vision back. I really think that there's gonna be. I think Wanda and Agatha are gonna duke it out, and I think they're gonna duke it out, and then I think that Monica is gonna come in and she's gonna duke it out with all. There's gonna be a three-way fight going on, and then they're gonna realize that Wanda and Monica are like on the same side, and then Monica eventually joins the Avengers or the new Avengers. But my major overlying theory is that two teams are going to form out of this. We're going to get two teams out of this show, or the this show. We're going to get the Young Avengers.
You heard it here first.
What?
You heard it here first.
I say it every episode. We're going to get the Young Avengers. Speed and Wiccan are going to be real, or going to somehow be realized outside of the dome. I don't know how it's going to happen. Kate Bishop, maybe Young Vision. Maybe we get Young Vision. I don't know. But it's going to happen. Then we're going to get a West Coast style Avengers. We're going to get a secondary team. We have enough characters now to have two different teams. A Cosmic Avengers and an Earth Avengers. You know, we have all these characters going into space. Who's defending Earth? You know, Doctor Strange is going into God knows what multiverse. And Spider-Man, I guess, is going to another planet now.
Oh, yeah.
So, who's going to defend Earth? This is what I'm going to tell you. We're gonna have Scarlet Witch. We're gonna have White Vision. We're gonna have Hawkeye. We're gonna have. I really hope they introduce Mockingbird from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. into the continuity. And now that we saw in the movie, did Hawkeye get his family back?
Yeah,
he did.
Okay. Well, I hope they get a divorce. And he ends up marrying Mockingbird.
You heard it here first. Hope he gets.
You heard it here first. I'm the lawyer. I'm gonna get him this divorce. But I hope that, and then there's two characters that are super unaccounted for that don't exist in the MCU, and I don't know how they would put either of them in at this point. But it's Tigra and it's Wonder Man. And those are the only two main West Coast Avengers that you really need. But I don't expect them to put U.S. Agent in the MCU at this moment. So I really
Night.
He might.
Moon Knight's already going to be a thing.
Hey, if Hayward's ends up having some kind of memory things in White Vision, that ends up being Wonder Man or something, you guys are gonna hate me.
No, Wonder Man, that would not line up with his backstory at all.
You guys would hate me if Hayward's like, "Whoa, my memory brain should be sufficed enough with his White Vision," and he's just like glitching out because he got Ultron in him or something.
But Wonder Man's a human, and if they don't do it the right way, and we don't get a freaking a Reaper out of this, I don't want it. If we don't get both Williams, I don't want it. But I think we're gonna get that. But instead of Tigra, and I don't think Wonder Man, I think that She-Hulk's gonna fill that spot.
That'd be sick.
I think I said it in the chat. I think it's gonna be Mockingbird, Hawkeye, War Machine. Because War Machine was first a member of the Avengers in West Coast Avengers. What did I say? Hawkeye, Mockingbird, War Machine, White Vision, Scarlet Witch, She-Hulk, and I'm not giving this episode a 10. It'd be a 10 if they introduced freaking Simon Williams. That's how you get it a 10. It's a 9.5. So yeah, I think we're gonna get. I think there's Ultron's gonna come back. They're gonna get West Coast Avengers, Young Avengers, and that's my theories.
That's for them all.
Carlos.
Come on, Carlos. Or Matt. Matt, I'm not going last.
So I got, or you know what, Matt, go because I don't want to see your thunder, man. It's your turn. Do this.
Damn, Carlos, you scared of Matt for real.
Do this.
For real. Damn.
Nick, why can't his wife be Mockingbird? Why do you have to have a divorce? Why can't they make his wife Mockingbird?
Because Mockingbird was already introduced in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which was semi-canon.
I don't watch that garbage, so I wouldn't know. Sorry. I'll cross that off my list.
That's cold, man. That's cold.
You gotta say it's canon because Coulson's in it. So
I was actually gonna start watching it. I've never watched it, so I'll start watching it. So
Stop lying, Matt. You don't like that shit. Stop
I
lying.
can cross that off my list.
Alright.
White Vision will become one of two things. Either A, it will become Vision. What's her name will put the powers or whatever into him and make him Vision. Or Nick, I had it written down in my messy handwriting. He'll be Ultron. That was and I've been saying they've been building Ultron from the start. I've been saying that.
You just wrote that down like 2 seconds ago.
Damn, yo, Matt, I'm so sorry, but damn, you killed that. If she turns him back into the colored Vision and we just see White Vision for 1 second, damn.
No, it'll be maybe in another movie or something. I don't think it'll happen. There's too much to happen. I think people are I reckon you guys are just forgetting something like Monica fight. Monica will be fighting off with White Vision because you're gonna say Monica's got the rival with Hayward, so you're gonna have Monica versus White Vision and that's how she's gonna get her powers, and that's how it's gonna. You know what? White Vision's gonna go into the bubble. White Vision. I don't know if they're gonna team up or whatever, but in the bubble you're gonna have Monica versus White Vision, and you're gonna have Agatha versus Scarlet Witch. Okay, and then Scarlet's gonna see Monica, and there you go. Scarlet and Monica are gonna be part of whatever team you want to call them. I know the names of the Marvel, but
Nick, put him in a seat, Nick. Fast, come on.
she could easily be part of the West Coast Avengers. She was part of the East Coast team during that time period, so
I definitely think Monica and White Vision. If anything I'm gonna stand by. It's gonna be a showdown between Monica and the White Vision. That's what I'm definitely going to stand by. I think Agatha and Scarlet will fight, and then because I just know typical Marvel, Disney. That's a DC.
It's a nice point because you said Hayward versus Monica.
Because they've got that beef. You need to keep their beef kind of going, right?
Yeah.
Whether then White Vision.
He's definitely a Zemo.
Yeah, but I think Agatha and Wanda, when they get their fight on, I think Wanda is going to make her good. You know what I mean? Like, Wanda's going to give her the speech, give her the talk, and she's going to become good. Because it always happens, though. I'm not being a smart ass now. I'm being serious. Like, it always happens. Like, listen. Was Scarlet Witch wasn't Wanda taking on the Avengers at the start? Wanda can say, I know where you've been. I know how you feel. I know this. I know that.
She didn't
bang,
know.
she converts it to good. Maddie.
No, she didn't know.
Because you know I'm going to be right.
No,
You know,
she
at the end
didn't
of the
know.
day, I'm going to be right.
The second she found out Ultron's plan, she said, "No, that's not okay. I need to stop him." The second she found out that it was bad, she
Yes.
stopped.
Yes. But she was
Agatha's
bad.
being a bitch.
She started off bad. She started off bad.
She didn't know she was bad. She did not know.
I gotta throw something in here because I just realized something and I want to throw it in here. It's not a possibility.
Hey, just know that if it's right, it's came because of one of my things, something I've said. You've thought of it.
That's fine. You can have it. But you know how we've been trying to figure out who the doctor, who the physics guy is, who this secret character is. We've said all these characters. Not a single one of us has said Bruce Banner.
Hope not, because I don't want him to be it.
Wait,
we already seen Bruce Banner. Fuck him.
But also, Paul Bettany has already worked with Mark
Yeah,
Ruffalo.
but you could have been saying that to throw it off, to throw people off.
They've been fucking with us this entire time.
They have been. They could
Like, because now that like this could easily because he's Smart Hulk, right? He's still Smart Hulk.
Yeah.
This could easily be him, and none of us have said that. None of us have even thought that. And at the end, Hulk comes because where everybody else is doing something. Thor's doing something, being fat. Like the other people are dead. Like
I think it's going to be because they've announced Fantastic Four. I really think it's going to be Reed. I really think it's going to be him. Has to be.
The other thing I wanted to now I can't even think of it. So I guess I'll say forget it. If I remember what I was going to say, I'll say it.
But yeah, and then lastly, the informant is what I'm trying to figure out. I still don't know who that is. I think maybe the informant might be the person that they're talking about that they all want to work with. You know what I mean? Like it might not be the scientist people with the overthinking it. You know what I mean? It could be possibly be the informant.
The informant is the husband that doesn't exist.
The informant is what's his name? We just said we need him, Grim Reaper.
How?
That makes no sense.
Well, to be honest, we've met the informant. We've seen the person that is in that bubble. We've seen them. They're not gonna, you know what I mean? We have to have seen them. So then maybe my theory's freaking wrong that might be the big reveal. But you know what I mean? Like it's the informant is what I reckon is going to be the big surprise.
Another reason
that
I think the informant is Dottie is because when Wanda drove into the town, we saw pretty much everyone. We saw Herb. We saw the delivery guy.
She's the blonde one?
Yeah, she's the blonde one that got cut in her hand.
The one that was doing the
who we haven't
thing.
seen since.
Yeah, we haven't seen her since. We saw the girl from that 70s show, the mom. We saw pretty much everybody, but Dottie didn't show up because she probably wasn't there. And then the informant showed up. I don't know. I think it's Dottie. That's my final word on that.
And what the informant probably followed Wanda.
Yeah.
Like, and then it goes back to what Nick said, that somebody planted that letter.
That was Matt.
That was
Matt.
No, that letter,
Don't
100%
try to get
planted.
me in trouble with Matt.
That letter 100% planted, but wasn't it Sword was helping Jimmy Woo find the informant in there?
Yes.
Yes.
Hey?
Jimmy Woo is FBI.
Yeah, Jimmy Woo is FBI.
No, yeah.
They call
But they
him
asked-
Sword.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Yes.
So,
Can we just say that the Sword base?
The question is, did the break-in happen before Monica walked in? It did, didn't it? Was it before?
Well,
Did Wanda break in before Monica went there?
Yeah.
Yes. Because the dome was
Okay,
already
so
set up.
yes, whoever it is, they've sent. Oh no, because then
There's something on the TV going on. Maybe if we see again what's going on the TV when Wanda breaks in, because they're clearly showing you a bunch of stuff on the TV. Maybe those dates can match up because there's probably dates on them because it's news.
Yeah, because I definitely reckon the letter wasn't from Vision. I definitely think the letters are set up to put her there. So the question is, who put the letter there, and then who is the informant?
The only thing I got an issue with that theory is when he says we tried every single power source that we have access to. Who knew a little bit of that red power that Wanda has will power him up? So I feel like he didn't know. He didn't know.
Yeah. That's true.
Can we just say that the Sword base looks like the lobby of Men in Black?
Yeah,
It does.
It looks like it's in Florida too. I swear, not New Jersey.
Monica versus White Vision showdown. That's what's happening.
I don't think
Carlos,
so.
oils.
All right. So in terms of theories, my theories don't really revolve around what's gonna happen in the last episode because I honestly have no idea how they're gonna wrap all of this up together. I mean, I I do believe that there's gonna be some kind of showdown. There has to be, you know. I think that all of the pieces are gonna come together. My theories are more beyond what's gonna end up happening in the last episode, and the biggest one that I have, and the one that I just want to see, what it really meant was when she sees that vision of herself, as being the Scarlet Witch, because at the very end, Agatha clearly starts, realizing that Wanda is the Scarlet Witch, right? But in the comics, Wanda just took up that name. She was just the Scarlet Witch. It's not like there were other Scarlet Witches or that there was ever a reference to another Scarlet Witch. The way that Agatha talks about her being a myth, being a mythical, being, it just seemed very odd to me because that means that there's prior history within the witch or magic community, or that there's been other Scarlet Witches,
Yeah,
or
it's like a Phoenix Force, basically. I'm sorry.
yeah, I guess maybe in terms of like yeah, in terms of chaos magic, right? In terms of like having that, yeah,
Always being there, and there'll always be a host for the Phoenix Force. There'll always be a host for how you just said.
exactly, right? So where my theory pertains is that Agatha is talking about the Scarlet Witch like there's already a Scarlet Witch somewhere, and the way that this is going to tie into Doctor Strange is the multiverse. Is that Agatha has heard of a Scarlet Witch that is so powerful that she creates reality, she rewrites reality, like all of that stuff, and that's why she says that she's dangerous, that she's you know
Abomination.
exactly, and basically at this point I feel like Agatha feels that she needs to either control her or destroy her or whatever. But I think that again, the way that Agatha is talking about the Scarlet Witch, I think that there are some realities where there was a Scarlet Witch and she just destroyed it. Because I mean, again, it don't you guys think that it seems a little odd that she's talking about Wanda and the Scarlet Witch, like a Scarlet Witch, like
I think
whatever. You know
I
what I mean?
think
Well, it could just be a myth. Like she could, like the Scarlet Witch could have been like a mythological thing that's like passed down in, it's like a term for someone who can do what she can do in the teachings of witchhood.
and
Right.
when the old girl, the old Agatha's mom, like I swear she was Scarlet Witch because she had the crown, but it was just blue.
So, and Nuno, you took the words out of my mouth because I was actually going to refer that it seemed
We
very
think
like
about that.
it seemed very deliberate to me that when the mom was casting some of her spells, like I guess her ultimate spell or whatever, you kind of saw a little crown in
Yeah,
blue magic form.
blue or
So
purple. I think it was blue, right?
yeah, yeah. So I don't know, but Nick, you're right. It could just be a myth that's been passed down. But the fact that she's talking about chaos magic, it seems like no one's really come across this kinds of magic. Either
In a really long time.
in a really long time, either hundreds of years or whatever. But the fact that it seems like Wanda was predisposed to being able to use magic
You
when
know,
she was a girl.
Carlos, I'm gonna throw something at you real quick
Go for it.
because you brought this up and you opened this door. Maybe there's only one Scarlet Witch, but Agatha knows of the Scarlet Witch because at one point in time, Wanda goes back in time as the Scarlet Witch and does something in the past, and now Agatha knows of her powers because of the Scarlet Witch, but she never knew who the Scarlet Witch was because it happened before her time. And
Exactly.
seeing this chaos magic means there's only one person that can do this that's ever existed, and that is the Scarlet Witch.
Dude,
That'd be nice.
and and also because and you know what, you're right, because Agatha easily and clearly knows what an Infinity Stone is. They're
Yeah.
not there are not that many people that know or aware of what an Infinity Stone really was, or what it can do. Obviously, with the snap and Thanos and all of that stuff, um, people may have more knowledge about it. But clearly, Agatha being around for such a long time, her being a magical creature, person, character, whatever. Um, you're right, man. It'd be super cool if something happens where Wanda travels back in time, whatever. But that image of Wanda seeing herself as the Scarlet Witch, I don't know if I interpret that as her seeing, her possible future, or what she or who she really is inside, or if this is a representation of a Scarlet Witch that exists, again, across different universes or whatever.
This
Because
is a
again,
question, sorry, Carlos. So you're saying, just so I can wrap my head around this, you're saying that Agatha could possibly be from another multiverse, like another universe?
no, that Agatha, in her practice of magic, has been to other universes, or she's heard,
Okay.
or she's heard through, like legends or myths or whatever, of a being that can wield chaos magic that's known as the Scarlet Witch. And I feel the reason why she's aware, or that this myth exists, is because there is a universe in which a Scarlet Witch
Yeah.
just absolutely destroyed it.
But
And
it
again,
could be.
this movie has to lead into Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, or the Madness of Multiverse. I can't remember what it's called, but Marvel has clearly stated that it's gonna go directly into that. And my theory is that it's gonna have something to do with, again, Wanda breaking reality, or Wanda creating a rupture in reality where Doctor Strange has to come in, and that's why Agatha is aware and brings up the danger of chaos magic and the myth of Scarlet Witch, because this has happened before in another universe. That's my theory. That's what I got.
I'm thinking this. I just want to add before we go on to our other section. I'm sorry, Manny.
No, go ahead.
What Nick said. So I'm thinking, right, it might be that she goes back in time through the Doctor Strange movie, and then she's called the Scarlet Witch now, meets Agatha in Salem times, and says, I am the Scarlet Witch, and she fucks up everything and like does like crazy shit. And then now, when she comes to the future, Agatha says Scarlet Witch, like Nick said, it's like kind of like a paradox, like a loop. Like like she gave the name to herself, but she was always Scarlet Witch because Agatha didn't know back then who the Scarlet Witch was. So I think that might be like right there, like literally right there. Because I think even if we know anything, Wanda will be curious to know more about like old witches and Salem and stuff. So she might even want to take a trip back there or something. So I don't know, man.
I think saying that, I reckon Agatha could be from a different universe that
Could be as well.
The Scarlet Witch destroyed. And now she's come over here to stop her from, I don't know, because what I'm just trying to figure out this whole Pietro thing now of the powers. How, if she's had these powers the whole time, did she then give Pietro? I wonder, give Pietro the speed powers, or were they born with them? Because we've been told this whole time that what's their name, Hydra did all these tests on him to make him like this.
Yeah.
So my theory is that if she had her powers this whole time, what about Pietro?
And my theory on that, because it actually is another thing that I wanted to mention. Agatha mentions that the reason why that bomb didn't go off, and we kind of see a hint, when Wanda's like reaching out to it, and she's saying that it's a dream. Agatha mentions that Wanda did a hex, a probability hex, right? So I think that when Wanda came in contact with the Mind Stone, I feel like the Mind Stone, chose her because of her predisposition to magic. And when she's in the testing center, you hear them say that every subject has basically died, that has been obliterated when they come in contact with the Mind Stone. So they're expecting Wanda to die as well, but she doesn't. The Mind Stone, shoots out of the scepter, goes to her, and that's where she sees that vision of herself, and brought up this connection to magic that Wanda already had. When it comes to Pietro, I think that it's the same thing, and I think I still keep thinking that's how we're gonna get mutants. Is that Wanda's, when she breaks reality, her powers go absolutely crazy. There are mutants already that exist in the MCU.
Well, they do now, Monica.
At least, or yeah, and it goes back to when I mentioned maybe Monica had that, has had that X gene, and people have had this, predisposition to these mutant powers, and when Wanda, loses it even more, or when she breaks reality, it's gonna make these latent, X genes or these powers come up, and that's how we're gonna get mutants.
So to wrap everything up that you guys just said, I want to say that Nick, I'm 100% positive that that's probably what's gonna happen, because that just gives Marvel the opportunity once again step in front of DC Comics, and they're gonna do Flashpoint first, except with Scarlet Witch, and she's gonna go back in time. She's gonna change something, and I think if they do go that route, what she's gonna do, what she is known for breaking reality for, is creating the X gene. She's gonna go back in time and do that whole thing to make the X gene possible. So that explains why there are X-Men and mutants here today, instead of, oh, we made it now and these people have had powers already. Like it would explain it better if it came from the 1600s. Now we know that Logan has been alive since 1800, stuff like that. So that would make more sense.
Wanda is gonna be Wanda's gonna be the mother of mutants.
The evolution.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, the evolution, exactly. But
can I also say that the final end credit scene is going to be Pietro on the moon?
Why?
And I know a bunch of you guys don't understand what that means, but I know Carlos does. And if they're doing all this 90s,
if they
West
do
Coast
that,
Avengers, if they're doing all the West Coast Avenger tie-ins, they're doing Weird Vision Quest, they're doing the kids, they're doing all this shit. It only makes sense that Pietro go to the moon to live with the Inhumans.
But what's the point?
Because he's not Pietro, right?
What's the point?
Yeah, but he has a kid with Crystal.
You have a feedback, Nick.
Am I good now?
He has a kid with Crystal of the Inhumans.
And going back to Matt, with your question on, no, not Matt. One of you guys were talking about the whole cameo. I've been seeing this online, and I kind of had this thought already as well. And I really hope I'm wrong, and that the people online are wrong. But Paul Bettany said this is someone that I've always wanted to work with, and he might just be fucking with us, and he's working with himself, and he's gonna work. He's Vision and he's White Vision. He's working with himself. That's the joke. That's the cameo. White Vision was the cameo. I really hope that's wrong.
I've heard that. It'll be so fucking lame if it is.
I really hope that's wrong.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. But I just wanted to throw that out there.